Today is a great day in that, yes, we have new tournaments on Underdog. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. Let's pull these up. What is special about these is it's the first of its kind, at least to my knowledge, 10-second timer. You have an option for a 15-second timer in this $3 draft, a 20-second timer, or a 10-second one. The fastest draft I've ever done is the typical 30-second timer on an Underdog tournament. I've never done anything like this. I'm super excited to give it a shot. It's a $3 buy-in, $100,000 prize pool, $10,000 for first, $7,000 for second, $6,000 for third. We're going to go ahead. We are going to hop in this. Now, I will say, if you are new to Underdog, I do not recommend you getting in a 10-second draft immediately. I definitely recommend you stay in the normal ones, but I'm going to have some fun here. I've done one or two of these in the past, and we get pick 3. So, hell, I'm auto me Tyreek Hill. Let's see it. I'm fine with it. I'm excited. And let me update the little graphic here. This is not a $25 buy-in. This is a $3 buy-in. And we are going to get multiple drafts going for everybody tonight since it should be so damn fast. We got Jake in a draft with us, my friend. Noah in a draft in at pick 1. Anthony out here at pick 11. Please let me know if anybody else is in here. Reinhard, yes, I was 3 minutes late. I'm sorry. I had to get some water. I was thinking we were going to raw dog it, go no water tonight, but your boy, I know it sounds like I'm lying. It sounds like I'm a sickly little child, but sadly I'm sick again. I have no idea why I'm getting sick so often. Literally ever since I started the training for like Ironman stuff, I've just gotten sick often. Okay. Yeah, that is quick. Literally from the time that we were on the clock for the time for me to pull up who to select, not much time went by. So whenever we're like 5 picks out, I'm going to have to start pulling up the list of available players. This is going to be tough, ladies and gentlemen. This will be tough. Okay. Big Rod says, good to catch a show, Mason. I'm getting back from the offseason. Thanks for the advice in advance. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, my friend. Happy that you are in here. No 9th pick tonight. Sadly, Sean in here at pick 12. Adam is taking pick 9 for us. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Henry's saying we got to use the Q in these 10-second drafts. We'll see. That team at 12 decides to go for a unique start. They go with Ayuk Gibbs out the gate, which if you think that Ayuk's in the same tier with Harrison and London, I mean, you are getting a unique build in comparison to the rest of the tournament. Yes, we are running 2 drafts today, but okay, we need to get this pulled up with where we are going to go. So Saquon Barkley continues to fall in these drafts. We have Waddle going off the board at 20. So we took Tyreek Hill at pick 3. HN goes, I will take Saquon Barkley here at 22 relatively easily. If Barkley is a 2-3 turn pick for the rest of the year, I will take a lot of Saquon Barkley. Devonta Smith goes at 24. It would have been great to have Smith on the way back around to pair up with Barkley. And here, my favorite guy, honestly, is probably Kyron Williams. Ooh. Okay. I'm used to talking for a considerable amount when we're on the clock. I'm used to trying to explain my thought process. But essentially, my thought process would be, let's go ahead. Let's take Kyron if we did not take Saquon Barkley. But once we go running back there in round 2, we kind of have to lock in a wide receiver in round 3, or we're going to put ourselves in a very difficult position, and we're going to give ourselves no flexibility through the middle rounds. Because, we've talked about this time and time again, but what we are wanting is 5 receivers through the first 8 rounds here in this draft. But yes, we need to lock in. That was scary. Allen Hurts off the board. Yeah, the A.J. Brown team goes Jalen Hurts. No surprise. T. Higgins off the board at 40. Let's swing this around because we need to start preparing right now. So because we go Malik Neighbors, we have some flexibility in what we can do here at pick 46. Now, would I be excited to take Terry McLaurin here? No, I would have way rather had Lamar. It sucks now that Lamar's no longer available. McLaurin goes. I wasn't going to go McLaurin anyway. Oh my gosh. We're just going to take ETN. Dear God. This is why I shouldn't take Saquon Barkley. Because there's no way I can force myself to take Hollywood over Travis Etienne. There's no way I can force myself to take Keenan over Etienne. Here with this next pick, we can't go running back regardless. Even if Pacheco would have fallen to us, we would have passed. It really does come down to the 2 tight ends here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Mark Andrews. I believe Andrews is an elite level tight end. I think he does have a decent shot to outscore the wide receivers in this range. But we got to get through this fast real quick before we're back up on the clock. Just in case you don't know what's going on here, we are scrambling around in an underdog draft. This is where we draft every single day through the entire offseason. It's my favorite place to draft. I mean, hell, it's best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the year. It's how I draft hundreds of teams here every offseason. That's how I won $150,000 on Underdog 2 years ago. And yeah, if you want to hop in and draft with us on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the description, in the comment section, in the live chat. If you use code FLOCK, you're going to get our 2024 rankings, our 2024 draft guide, and also with code FLOCK, you'll get a 50% deposit bonus up to $250 on a new account as well. So I'd make sure you take advantage of that. But Tresner says we need 250 more likes. I'm going to fire up a second draft no matter what. I will get a third draft going if we hit 300 likes on the stream. No matter what, we are getting 2 drafts going here, my friend. Don't you worry. Ryan says, would love a live draft, sir. Love the content. I hope that's what we're doing here. But thank you for coming out. And I don't know if you mean a live draft, like a live in-person draft. We may have some things in the work with some individuals over on flockfantasy.com, my friend. So be on the lookout. There may be announcements soon. Here, I think we are going to go ahead. We will take DeAndre Hopkins. Am I happy to take DeAndre Hopkins over Joe Mixon? No, of course I'm not. But the thing is, you can't trade on Underdog. We're not working the waiver wire. So we need to be able to go out there. We need to be able to have enough production at wide receivers. So we're going to even take Keon Coleman here at 75. We're going to go Hopkins, Keon. This is going to be a very bad explanation of why I decided to pass on Ladd in favor of DeAndre Hopkins there at the end of round 6. And be prepared for this very bad explanation on why we did not go Ladd. We took Malik Neighbors at 27. Looking at the players that would be available to us in round 7, I figure there's a good shot we are going to go Keon Coleman. So I did not want to have our wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, and wide receiver 4 on this roster all being rookies. Should we draft that way? I don't know. Probably not, but that's what we're doing. Ryan says, I met with me in one of these underdog drafts. How do I join? So if we're going to do a public tournament, my friend, just essentially joining the underdog tournament the same time that we do. Now, there may be an issue if there's a lag on the live stream and if people join before you're able to. But I do draft with a ton of the same people every single day. If you only have like $10 in your underdog account, I would definitely not enter like a $10 draft with us, hoping to draft with us, because it's not a guarantee that you'll get in. I definitely wait until it's like a $3 draft, a $5 draft. So if you don't get in, it's not the end of the world and you can try again. But hopefully that is a decent explanation. And then I'll try to get some private drafts going as well. So you can just click the link in the live stream and then go directly to a private draft room that has me in it. We'll try to get those going closer to the start of the year. But swinging this around, this is why we essentially had to go wide receiver over the past 2 rounds. Why we had to go with like Keon Coleman instead of Kamara. I don't know how we can justify going with the wide receiver here rather than an RB. And if we're looking at potential quarterback stacks, Dak, we don't have Lamb. Love, we don't have any Packers. We can go unstack Jaden Daniels. I think we're going to be boring and take Tyler Lockett here at 99 just to try to catch up on wide receiver production. This is so tough to do this in live stream. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do another 10-second timer. I was thinking this was going to be easy. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be fun. I got this in the bag. If I was sitting here and not live streaming and not having to move crap around and talk nonstop, maybe this would feel a little more comfortable. But right now, it just seems like I am clicking buttons. Gavin asking if we should stack Tua with Tyreek. I mean, we're going to have the option possibly to do that on the way back around, my friend. Yeah, I think 20 seconds is going to be the next thing that we do. I think 20 seconds may be the nice happy medium for us here. Henry says 9 rounds in 8 minutes. Wild. LS says, is Kadarius Toney Dunzo? I never see him getting drafted. I believe Kadarius Toney's Dunzo. I mean, Kadarius Toney did nothing on this team last year, and then they go out there and they add a wide receiver in round 1 and sign Hollywood Brown. Like, yeah, I'd assume you have no shot for Toney. Okay, so let's move this around. A couple of these quarterbacks falling. We didn't take any of the Washington guys for a Daniel stack. We didn't take any of the Chicago guys for a Caleb stack. Tajay Spears goes 116. We can take Caleb and go Komet later on. We're not going to do it. We're going to go Goddard instead and essentially just stop at 2 tight ends. Should we have done that? I don't know. Probably not. And we're going to take Tua on the way back around, pair up Tua with Tyreek. Oh. If Jaden Daniels would have fallen to us, I would have gotten Jaden Daniels there over Dallas Goedert. Because with Daniels, I think that you can access some pretty big spike weeks even without having the Washington guys. And there are some Washington guys we can target later on. But with Daniels, I think you just primarily are drafting him based off rushing upside. My thing with Caleb Williams is while he does have rushing upside and we can target Cole Kmet later on, if we're going to get massive spike weeks in the fantasy football playoff tournament from Caleb, it's hard to imagine us not getting a spike week to go along with it from DJ Moore, Rome, or Keenan. You know, so when you have such premium weapons there, I think it's going to make more sense to take Caleb in another draft than it would in this one. So if we're going to try to balance our exposures, I don't know if this is the build that makes sense for Caleb Williams. Okay. Tresner says get Levis for Hopkins. So the thing is, when we go Goddard there 118 and 2 is our first quarterback in round 11, I do think we give ourselves the ability to draft 3 QBs if we were to wait till the very end and grab like Will Levis to pair up with Hopkins. And then maybe grab like Daniel Jones to pair up with Malik Neighbors. I think we can go with like a super cheapo 3 QB build. Okay, Marshawn Lloyd goes 140. No matter what, we cannot take a tight end here. And we're going to go ahead. We are going to take Nick Chubb. I will continue to be the fish that takes Nick Chubb between Rico Dowdle and Ty Chandler. Yes, Chubb probably going to miss a decent section of the season this next year at the beginning. Probably going to start off super slow, but in these underdog tournaments where we are trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17, I am okay acknowledging the fact that he will get off to a little bit of a slower start. I'm going to go Quentin Johnston. I think Johnston's a really gross pick as well. If you look at the historical range of outcomes based off what he did as a rookie, 90+% of the time, if we play this out, Quentin Johnston is going to be a bust. The only instance that we saw another rookie wide receiver perform similarly to Quentin Johnston in the following year turn out to be a wide receiver 1 since the year 2000 was Brandon Marshall. It's like the only other instance you can point to. And there are hundreds of examples of guys failing and just turning out to be bust. So definitely very much a long shot for Johnston to do anything. But I could almost say, I can say the same thing about Darnell Mooney. I don't know if we want to take our third rookie receiver with Jalen Polk. And if you look at Las Vegas implied team totals right now, the New England Patriots are projected out to be the worst offense in the NFL in 2024. So, I don't know. Runner says Nick Chubb is toast this year, man. I agree. Nick Chubb, particularly at the beginning of the season, is most likely toast, not going to give you anything. I do believe that there's some upside at the end of the year if he is able to be healthy with how this offense projects out in the competition that you have in Cleveland. And I think if you're comparing him to the other running backs in this range, such as Ty Chandler, Rico Dowdle, Marshawn Lloyd, Condre Miller, I think give a higher ceiling for Chubb in weeks 15, 16, 17. Okay, let's move this around. We're going to go Gibson. Gibson will be our last running back that we take at 166. The issue that you would have with Antonio Gibson, going back to what we were talking about previously with Jalen Polk, is this should be just a horrendous offense. Okay, so let's move this over to wide receiver quarterback. Demario Douglas on the way back around does open up the possibility for us to kind of go in on New England here. And we can take Drake May at the very end for that 3 quarterback build that we were talking about previously. So we're going to go to Mario Douglas. We'll take the Pats at the turn here. But going back to what we were just referring to, I believe Vegas is projecting out the Patriots to barely be scoring slightly more than 20 points per game, which is currently the worst projected offense that you have in the NFL. So definitely don't want to be loading up on too many New England Patriots. But if you are looking at Gibson, this is a running back that did have a career high in receptions last year. The main issue that you're going to have with Antonio Gibson, of course, is you actually get a really nice contract extension from Ramondre Stevenson. So that is what it is. But Cameron says 14-team Dynasty PPR tight end premium. We have Laporta, Andrews, Hawkinson. Would you move Hawkinson, Christian Watson, and a future first for Amon-Ra? I would try to hold on to Christian Watson, given the fact that this is a 14-team league. Depth's going to be a little bit harder to come by. I think it's a fair price point to go out there and get Amon-Ra St. Brown. If it was a 10-team league, I'd do it, and without question, I'd run for it. 14-team league, I would counter or make the offer where we keep Christian Watson, but I'd ultimately probably do it regardless. Bone says Patriots will be the second worst offense this year. I'd bet money on it. Who is the worst? Tresner says, are the Giants the worst? Yeah, Bone says the Giants will be the worst. Well, thank God we have Malik Neighbors here, so we can monopolize the worst offense in the NFL and the second to worst offense in the NFL, which how you win tournaments, how you win large sums of money on Underdog is you draft players in horrendous offenses that don't have touchdown upside. Beautiful. I wasn't planning on going Geno Smith here simply because I was not planning on having that good of an option at quarterback at pick 190, but we took Tyler Lockett previously, so Geno Smith is a very easy auto pick for us at this point. And we were just quarterback and wide receiver over the next 2 rounds here. So I'm not a big Javon Baker guy. Daniel Jones ends up going here. I think we're going to take Drake May and just essentially lock in Drake May with Antonio Gibson as well as Demario Douglas. And our last round, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a receiver. I have Tua, so I wouldn't mind getting Odell in here. We have Malik Neighbors. Maybe we go for Darius Slayton and say the Giants offense will be better than people expect. Maybe the same thing with Jalen Hyatt. And then also someone that I like mixing in here just a bit would be a Mr. Where is he? I'm not even going to show y'all that guy because I'm trying to make sure y'all don't steal him from me, but in other drafts, that is. But let me show y'all this draft board real quick. I know we went extremely quick here. We're in at the 3 hole. I'm not going to talk about this too much. I have not had a second to breathe. I have not had a second to think. Okay, team. Not going to sit here and act like it's the best team that was ever drafted. For us to have a 10-second timer, we got some correlation. We fit the roster construction. We got some values. So overall, for my personal draft strategy, I think we did just fine. And yeah, we should get one of those wide receivers that we queued up previously. So let's go ahead. Let's hop into another tournament on Underdog. So we're going to get into another. God, that was so quick. That was ridiculous. That was the 10-second timer. Let's hop into a 15-second timer and see what it's like. Same tournament structure, the $3 buy-in, $10,000 for first, $7,000 for second, all the way down the line. Also just dropped today. The only difference is instead of this being that 10-second timer, it is a 15-second one. But we are in here. We are at pick 8, and I am a happy man, ladies and gentlemen. Pick 8, we should be in a pretty decent spot. Please let me know in the live chat if you got in with us. Meg says, where's the highest you'd pick Bijan? If I was in a casual redraft league where you only start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a flex, where you can only start up to 3 wide receivers at the very most, there, I think you can make an argument to go with Bijan as high as like 5 or 6. Personally, I have Breece Hall ranked ahead of Bijan Robinson. So in an underdog draft in particular, where we are more incentivized to build around wide receiver, I personally would not take Bijan Robinson any higher than 8. So if Bijan falls to us at 8, that's probably who we're going to go with, but we'll see. Not pick 9. Tresner says usually can get Bijan at pick 8. Yeah, I mean, if Bijan falls there, what would have to happen is Breece would have to go at 7. If Breece goes at 7, I'll take Bijan at 8. Noah got in a different draft with us, but at pick 3. Henry says 200 likes in 20 minutes. Dear God, we got some people out here with us. JG, pick 4. Bone says they have different timers. Yeah, in the description, you'll see that they have different timers. Scott says, at this rate, we could do 3 drafts in an hour. I think I will probably, like I said previously, I hope Underdog does release more tournaments that are like 10-second timers, because I think I'm going to start drafting off the live stream really soon. I've tried saving my stamina for these drafts primarily on stream, but I'm probably going to start drafting off stream personally, like when I'm at the gym or when I'm working on my computer, have a draft going, like if I'm making a podcast for someone on flockfantasy.com or something. So if I'm drafting off stream, I kind of like the idea of a 15-second timer. Sorry, like I said, I don't know how I'm always sick now, but I'm always sick now. Okay. Ball King says, I was drafting no Bijan last year. I now pick him at 2 behind Christian McCaffrey. Wild, my friend. Wild. Jocelyn says, in a 2-quarterback league, who is normally your first pick? So I don't play in any 2-quarterback redraft formats. Every dynasty league that I play in is a 2QB / superflex league. And my first guy personally is Mahomes. Most people prefer Josh Allen. Specifically in dynasty, though, I'd rather Mahomes. Okay. Tresner says, Mason, you just ran a marathon right. Everyone gets sick after long runs. I just did an Ironman, my friend. So that's 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, then a marathon. We can't go Jonathan Taylor. Sucks. I would love to go Taylor here, but instead we're going to have to go receiver. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Chris Olave. I think I would rather have Taylor over the receivers, but when you go with a running back in round 1, I personally, it's way too hard for me to make it work. But what I was excited about is once I got back from Paris, and even when we were in Paris, I started doing it. I was going to do a challenge for myself of how many days in a row we could run 10 miles. I had big hopes. I was thinking we were going to run 10 miles for 100 days in a row, yada, yada, yada. And then on day 6, we get sick. And I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to go out there, run with it being 90 degrees and make myself even worse. So, the dream streak of the high hopes crashed and burned immediately. So very disappointing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Keith says, my first and only Ironman, 2014 Chattanooga, was so awesome. Where is Chattanooga, my friend? Congrats. In 2014, I was a freshman in high school, I believe. Also my first year playing Dynasty Fantasy Football. A little more important year for me on that front, but yes, David Goggins would will himself not sick. He says Tennessee. Okay, interesting. I would love to go to, I've never been to Tennessee, so that'd be really cool to check out, but I'm definitely going to do another Ironman next year. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm going to do another Ironman next year. The issue is I can only do them May, June, July. I can't do one. And it seems like the majority of them are August and beyond. I just can't do it because of the football season. I don't feel good about it, but we're going to take Kyron Williams. It just puts us in such a tough spot to take Kyron here, where we are going to fall behind at receiver. And the issue is when we take Kyron here in round 3, I'm not able to take a tight end or a quarterback in round 4. So it does make things very awkward. I just personally cannot take Michael Pittman Jr. over Kyron Williams. I can't do it. But yeah, so I am excited to do another Ironman next year. I think right now I'm probably looking at either Ironman Switzerland or Ironman Australia. But also my other goals, just in case you're interested. My next goal for 2024 is there's a 50-mile ultra marathon in Austin. So I want to do that. It's November 2nd. So we're going to do the 50-mile ultra in Austin. And honestly, I should be able to still work the rest of the day. It's like early Saturday morning, so I should still be able to stream on Saturday night and stream Sunday morning. Then in 2025, I want to go with the sub 3-hour marathon. I want to do a sub 11-hour Ironman and possibly a 100-mile ultra marathon for 2025. We'll see though. Big goals, maybe unrealistic goals, but I'd rather set unrealistic goals and fail them than set tiny goals and succeed them. Okay. Where to take Zay Flowers? I am thanking the gods that we get Zay Flowers here in round 4. I mean, we just desperately needed a wide receiver. Once we go with Breece and Kyron to start out this draft, typically you're going to see me a lot in round 4, go with an elite tight end, go with an elite quarterback. But yeah, once you go with 2 running backs the first 3 rounds on Underdog, your hands really force. In the middle rounds here, we kind of have to be going wide receiver no matter what. This is 100% true. Henry says, after doing 10 seconds, this 15 seconds is 100%, my friend. That is so funny because this kind of seems like a normal Underdog draft for me with this being 15 seconds. I think 15 seconds is, at least from, I've only done 2 drafts. Maybe if I have more practice with 10 seconds, I'll like it more. But 15 seconds, this seems perfect. I like this more than the 30-second timer. Torsten says, please come to Germany for your next Ironman. If you do, I will also take part and go for it with you. Ooh, my friend. Let me look it up. The issue is they're not, like, the reason I'm saying, like, I have to maybe do, like, Switzerland or Australia is it's just, there aren't that many options for full. There are a lot of, like, Ironman 70.3s, which are the half Ironmans, but there aren't that many options for full Ironman races in May, June, July. That's why I ended up doing this one this year in France, because I was going to have to, no matter what, I was going to have to fly to it. So I was like, oh, okay, if I'm going to have to fly to it, no matter what, might as well make it somewhere cool. So like the ones that they had in July this year, they had Switzerland, July 7th, Spain, July 14th. And late July, they have Lake Placid, New York. But like, no matter what, from Austin, Texas, I'm going to have to fly to them. They actually have one in Texas, which I could drive to. I had a buddy drive to this past year. I'm sorry. We need a wide receiver, but I have no other. My brain will not let me pass on Patrick Mahomes in favor of Hollywood Brown. And then I'm going to queue up these wide receivers now because no matter what, I have to take a wide receiver with their next pick. But the issue with Ironman Texas and why we couldn't do that one this year and why we can't do it next year is it is in It's like April 27th, and the NFL draft is April 25th. So like the only dates that I like are really important to me in the offseason is like the Super Bowl and the NFL draft. So it's like the one weekend that I would not be able to do it, which is very frustrating. Okay. Now, Kenneth Walker off the board, 61. Kyle Pitts goes. Like I said, again, we're really looking at wide receiver. It would have been perfect to get either Xavier Worthy or Hollywood Brown making it back to us at 65 when we go with Mahomes. It is what it is when it doesn't work out. Not going to sit here and cry about it. Looks like Rome's best player available according to ADP. I don't care. I'm a Jordan Addison kind of guy. I want to draft a lot of Addison. I'm going to continue to do just that. We're going to take Jordan Addison here at pick 75. And yeah, I mean, Mahomes is very interesting in that typically I can justify not having the stack quarterback whenever you're looking at the rushing guys like Lamar, Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields in years past. Mahomes doesn't give you that same kind of rushing upside. But I actually won $100,000 in a tournament on Underdog 2 years ago with an unstacked Patrick Mahomes. Maybe we stacked him with like MVS or someone that didn't matter, but like we won the tournament with an unstacked Mahomes. And the reason is in a lot of these Chiefs games, you will see a double-digit number of players touching the football. You will see Mahomes target 7, 8 different players. So you can still get multiple Mahomes 400-yard passing games where it's not like one wide receiver needs to blow up and have 120, 130 receiving yards. So I definitely prefer, obviously, having Mahomes stacked up with Kelsey, with Hollywood, with Worthy. That is the ideal situation. But I'm not panicking whenever we don't get one of those options falling to us. So wide receiver is definitely preferable for us at 80 if we're able to get one. The issue is if Brian Thomas, Rashee Rice, Deontay Johnson all go, am I able to take Jamison Williams instead of Aaron Jones? I can't. So we'll see what happens. Brian Thomas goes 77. Aaron Jones goes, thank God we are at least getting one wide receiver here, whether that's Rice or Deontay. I don't think it's a secret to anybody. The guy we'd prefer is Rice since we have Mahomes, but Rice does go right before us. So instead, looks like we are going to get Deontay Johnson. Knowing what's going to be on the way back around in round 8, we have no other option but to go wide receiver here. In round 8, I'm going to need a running back. I'm not going to need a running back, but I'm probably going to want to draft a running back. It's either that or we're going to be reaching on Cortland Sutton. So clearly we'd have rather had Rice. Rice would have been a phenomenal pick for us at 80. I keep pounding. I guess we end up with another Carolina Panther. For the love of God, Bryce Young, please do something. Probably won't, but... the Harrison team, are they going to pass on Kyler? They take Najee. They have Josh Allen, so I mean, I'm going to really blame them for doing so, but Curtis Samuel at pick 87. So this is why we had to go Deontay Johnson in the previous round, right? I mean, we're sitting here in the best wide receiver that's available to us at 89 is Cortland Sutton. DeAndre Swift goes. I don't want to talk about it, but let's see. Cardinals, what guys can we take? We can take James Conner. Oh, not Tip Ryman. I have no idea who the hell that is. Trey Benson, Michael Wilson, Zay Jones. Chiefs. Let's see what we are working with here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Woo, exciting. Exciting stuff. So, this is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Have 2 unstacked quarterbacks. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's the story I'm going to tell y'all. Here's the wicked little concoction I'm going to have in my head. Let's run through this hypothetical. Patrick Mahomes, high ankle sprain in week 3. Patrick Mahomes then misses 8 weeks. You get Patrick Mahomes back in week 11, week 12. Naturally, the teams that drafted Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Patrick Mahomes, all have significantly lower advance rates to the playoff tournament. We, on the other hand, are able to sneak a Patrick Mahomes team through because we weren't too overweight the Chiefs. We had enough production to get by with Kyler at quarterback. Mahomes, the number 1 overall QB in the fantasy football playoff tournament. Bada boom, bada bang. It works. Obviously, we were doing the most mental gymnastics you've ever seen to try to justify why this was not a horrible decision, but probably is, probably was, and we are going to move on. We got a lot of points with Mahomes and Kyler. The points are pretty nice. Troy says, excellent strategy. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Now, of course, we're going to have to try to get some of these Arizona Cardinals. We're going to have we will have more Cardinals options than we will have Chiefs options going forward, obviously. We'll go ahead and we'll take Trey Benson here, 104. I probably prefer going with David Njoku in a vacuum, but maybe Benson is a decent pass catcher at the next level. Maybe someone correlates with Kyler. We'll see. Let's move this over. Ultimately, it's the price point. I mean, getting the amount of points that Mahomes is going to score at 56. And also keep in mind, when we took Mahomes, we had the shot to get Rashee Rice at pick 80. He went at 79, one pick before us. And then with Kyler at 89, I just think the amount of points Kyler is going to score in comparison to like the running backs with Moss, Connor, Warren, Mostert, I think you're just going to have so many more points scored. And then also, if you look at the other quarterbacks we could have taken, Love, Burrow, Dak don't have nearly the same rushing upside as Kyler. So I'd prefer to take those pocket passing options more so in spots where we have their weapons attached to them. Okay. Let's move this over. Kobe Obey on the clock. Goes David Njoku. Javonte, horrible offense. Brian Robinson, pretty bad offense. Spears, pretty bad offense. We can't take Purdy. We can't. We're just going to go ahead. We'll take Javonte. Obviously, this is a team that, God, we need to take some wide receivers quick. Wide receivers, we are toast. We have Chris Olave, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, Deontay Johnson. Hopefully, we find some values that we like a little later on. Right now, at running back, we have Brees, Kyron, Trey Benson, Javonte, quarterbacks, Mahomes, Kyler. Not a pretty situation. Let's figure out where we could have gone different with this team. I am taking Brees Hall at pick 8 in every single draft. I don't care. Chris Olave, pick 17, makes a ton of sense. We need a wide receiver. I am sorry. I am not going to take Michael Pittman. I am not going to take Tank Dell over Kyron Williams. I think it's either Kyron or Laporta there for me at pick 32. Zay Flowers, 41. I think it makes a lot of sense. I am sorry. I cannot take Hollywood Brown, Chris Godwin over Mahomes. I have to go Patrick Mahomes. Wide receiver there at 65, Jordan Addison. If you want to make an argument for Rome, you do you, but wide receiver should be the selection. I'm not going to be reaching on Rashee Rice at 65 because, I mean, there's a chance we get Rice on the way back around at 80. Rice goes at 79, so instead we have to go Deontay Johnson. We need a wide receiver no matter what. 89, it makes way more sense for us to go wide receiver, but am I really supposed to take Courtland Sutton over Kyler Murray? 104, we could go Shaheed, pair him up with Olave, but I kind of want to just start getting some Cardinals on this team. And then I'm sorry, I cannot take Adonai Mitchell over Javonte Williams. So, as I look at this, I do not love it. But I don't know if I can get away from what we've done. And now we're just going to have to get some gross receivers in here. We're going to get Gabe Davis, someone who has access to spike weeks. Hopefully a respectable offense. I think there's going to be more passing volume in Jacksonville than there is in Indy. Maybe if this was like a full PPR format where we're not necessarily chasing spike weeks, I go Josh Downs over Gabe Davis. But we're going to go Davis instead. Okay. Let's move this over. And we still need more receivers. It's going to be a team where obviously we take 3 tight ends. Joshua says, why aren't you higher on A.D. Mitchell? He was a Longhorn, right? I really like his highlights. If you look at A.D. Mitchell's advanced statistics, if you look at his yards per team pass attempt, if you look at his yards per route run, if you look at his targets per route run, I cannot tell you the last time that a wide receiver with his profile worked out. I think he has a disgusting analytical profile. We're going to go Dalton Schultz here. The team before us can't go tight end. Like, if you look at A.D. Mitchell was dead last in this draft class in yards per route run. Out of all guys that are relevant and possibly getting drafted. Is this team on auto? They go with the 3rd tight ends. Now that they go 3rd tight end, I feel like that we are kind of forced to go tight end because these tight ends may be at a little bit... I mean, the supply may be down in the rest of this draft because the team before us has Kelsey and Njoku Schultz. I think they're on auto draft. But we'll go ahead and we'll take Frymuth. We'll get another draft going if we hit 300 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Even though I am sick, even though I probably should go to bed, but it is what it is. Joshua says, Sticky Ricky over A.D. Mitchell over the next 3 years. This year, I think you probably go Mitchell just given how clogged the roster is in San Francisco. But I think that ultimately, if you were looking at Ricky, it's a wide receiver in a much better offense. Passing offense, that is. There should be more passing volume in San Francisco. I mean, a way better offense overall. I mean, right now, Vegas is projecting out the Niners to be the best offense in the NFL. So I think Ricky is a much better offense. He has the round 1 draft capital attached to him. So if I'm looking at it, I'd probably rather have, obviously this year it's different, but long-term probably rather have Ricky. Okay. Let's move this over. We still need wide receivers here. That is not a secret to anyone. So we're going to go ahead. We'll take Jalen Polk. I mean, I think you make an argument to take Adam Thielen, considering the fact that we did select Deontay Johnson, so we're kind of pot committed in this offense already. But I mean, Adam Thielen has an ADP of almost 20 picks behind Jalen Polk, right? So I think there's a shot we get Adam Thielen on the way back around round 14. I don't know if there's any chance that we get Jalen Polk on the way back around. Okay. Henry says, going to be tough watching 30-second clock drafts now. I agree with you. It's going to be hard to do them. Okay, let's move this around. Thielen goes. Thielen would have been a nice construction pick for this team. Michael Wilson, ADP 175. We'll be on 176. We'll probably get Michael Wilson on the way back around. Let's just go ahead. Let's take Tyler Algier and take our last running back here. I think Algier is the best player in this range. And yes, it looks like we're 7 likes away from hopping in another draft, so we are most likely going to get another one going. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to send out a tweet with my thoughts of the new timers. Okay, let's move this back over. Yeah, Michael Wilson, absolute no-brainer pick here when we have Kyler and don't have enough stacking options with him as is. And then on the way back around, I'm probably hoping that we get some tight ends. New underdog tournaments. Thoughts? Okay, I think Cade Otton, easy pick. Need a tight ends. If you actually look at some of the advanced analytics with Cade Otton though, I mean, I don't know if Cade Otton's a good tight end, but I mean, ultimately he's going to be running routes. And he should have a role, which is very hard to say about pretty much anybody in this range. Okay. Sorry. Got that out. Should be good to go now. Okay, how you go? So we're going to need one more tight end in this draft and one more wide receiver. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire would have been in play for us, but we took Algier as our last running back, right? So we're done at RB. Yes, I would prefer Jalen Polk over to Mario Douglas. I prefer Douglas over Javon Baker, which it looks like ADP is beginning to agree with that as well. When we were taking Douglas over Baker, that was not the ADP, but now it is changing a bit. Okay, we're going to go Jonnu Smith. Just get a tight end that's going to have a guaranteed role. Possibly give us some usable weeks. And we'll find a wide receiver. Is there anybody that we can try to make an argument for here based off our construction? Kendrick Bourne, we have Polk. Maybe we say New England's a better offense than people expect. Odell, we have Jonnu. I'd kind of rather have Odell. Maybe we see an injury to Tyreek or Waddle and we see the expanded target share for Odell and Jonnu, or the offense is better than people expect. And then we'll just take some other wide receivers. We'll queue up some other guys just in case. But let's go ahead, hop into another draft. I think we're going to try again the 10-second timer. Try my best. First time it seemed pretty damn fast, seemed difficult. But hell, maybe now that we've had some practice with these shorter timers, we'll see. Okay, we're at pick 8 again. Okay, perfect. As long as we have a top 8 pick, I'm happy. I think 7 and 8 are difficult, at least in my mind, because it forces your hands to go ahead and take a running back, whether that's Bijan or Brees, which personally I have a harder time constructing when we go RB round 1 on Underdog. But still, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it forces RB. Cody also got pick 8. Julius in here pick 6. Don't worry, I want a good team. Not going to sign, but thank you, my friend. Thank you. That's pretty funny. Augustus says Chark is my late round sleeper. I like DJ Chark. Hard to imagine they paid him $5 million not to play. He's going to get 60 targets, 40 catch, 5 touchdowns. I think that's perfectly said, my friend. Raphael telling us to just take Puka or Wilson. I think you have a high enough ceiling with Bijan and Brees that you can't afford to fade them at 8. I don't know if you can, my friend. Kale, happy to see you. Bijan goes at 5, so it's a little surprising. Jefferson goes, so we're going to get Brees, right? I mean, not too much changes. I mean, it changes things for the team at 7 where they're able to get Justin Jefferson. But personally for us, it doesn't matter. Cody gets Bijan at 8 where he goes 5 in this one. James says a lot of A.J. Brown. Disrespect. I did move A.J. Brown over Puka in our rankings, I want to say like a month ago. It's been a while. Okay. Smooth this over. Gibbs goes 15. Our hand will be forced to go wide receiver here. No matter what, we are going to go with Olave and have the same start that we did in the last one. So the issue, right, when we go through and we take Olave, if you're going to compare him to some of these other receivers, is there should be a decent amount of Hall Olave overlap in this tournament, where if you were to instead take someone that has an ADP where they almost exclusively go at the 2-3 turn, such as Jalen Waddle, you can have a little bit more of a unique build. Okay, Smith goes 23, Neighbors 24. And the issue is I see some people try to get a little too cute with like building unique starts. And what they'll do is they'll then follow up and they'll take, say, someone like Kyron Williams over Chris Olave. And the issue when you do that is what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of other teams that have that same player that you grabbed in round 2 in round 3. So you're still going to have a lot of Brees Kyron teams. Just they're going to also have a round 2 option that's probably a little bit better. Let's move this over. I'm going to take Laporta. For sure, I'm not taking Derrick Henry when we already have a running back. When we go Laporta, it does pencil us in to have to take a wide receiver in round 4, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Flowers Lamar there at the 3-4 turn. Not going to fault that at all. I think that team at 12 is a very unique team. I think it has upside too. Oh my gosh. I have a lizard brain. And my lizard brain, my dummy brain, is not smart enough, is not strong enough to take Amari Cooper over Josh Allen. I can't do it now. No matter what happens, when we have one wide receiver through the first 4 rounds, your boy will be taking receivers over the next 2 rounds. We're going to cue this up. I'm not even going to look at it. Tempt me. Try to give me Patrick Mahomes. Try to give me Josh Jacobs. Try to give me Dalton Kincaid. I'm going to brush it right off. I'm not even going to think about it. But my thing is, I think Josh Allen, Laporta, and Brees Hall, I think we could have the QB1, the running back 1, and the tight end 1 on this team. Obviously, when we only sit with Chris Olave through the first 4 rounds, we're going to be in a hole at wide receiver. So the goal right now is, can we get out of said hole? Can we find a way out of it? We're going to take Keenan Allen, wide receiver 2. Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley go immediately after. Doesn't matter if James Cook's the guy that falls, and maybe James Cook has some correlation with Josh Allen if he is used as a receiver. Doesn't matter. We can't go James Cook. Doesn't matter if Kyle Pitts falls. Doesn't matter if Rashad White. Doesn't matter. We cannot take any of these guys. The only players we can take are queued up are the wide receivers. We are going to go Rome over Xavier Worthy. I think it makes sense when we have Keenan. 2 outcomes could really help this. 1, a DJ Moore injury. You see the expanded target share for both Keenan Allen as well as Rome. Or maybe Caleb Williams just comes in and absolutely crushes, and we end up getting a better Chicago Bears offense than people were initially expecting. So there are a couple different ways that this can play out. I think Rome is for sure the selection. And I think we get very low. That was weird. I think we get very lucky to get Keenan and Rome where we do at 56 and 65. RV says, does Debo typically go that high on Underdog? No, Debo typically goes at the 2-3 turn, but you most likely saw the team take him there at the 201 for a unique combo of players. And it's not going to be a surprise to anybody. When we have Josh Allen, obviously we are hoping to get Keon Coleman. Does it happen? That's a different story. That's a different question. But when we're the Josh Allen team, kind of hoping we get Keon. Kyler goes 78. Jonathan Brooks goes, GG, ladies and gentlemen, this is the winner. We get Keon Coleman to pair up with Josh Allen. Beautiful. Kel says, do these videos hurt your odds? In terms of, are you asking if these live streams hurt my odds of winning an Underdog tournament? There are 2 different ways to answer this. I'm going to answer it as truthfully as I possibly can. If that is the question, 1, for me to put out videos with every single thought that I have, for me to put out rankings, and for me to put out all my contents and thoughts in live streams, it very much hurts my odds to win tournaments. At least in my mind, you may disagree with it. Now, with that being said, financially speaking, do I benefit more to draft in private and not stream and give out all my thoughts? No. Financially speaking, I am better off live streaming, telling you to use code FLOCK on Underdog, and maybe giving up a little bit of my edge with these drafts. So from a business perspective, it dramatically outweighs any loss that I would have from an expected value perspective, if that makes sense. I mean, hell, we did win the Big Dog tournament on the live stream 2 years ago for $100,000. That team was drafted on stream. We're going to go ahead. We will take Shaheed to pair up with Olave. The team before us takes Caleb Williams to pair up with DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore. Obviously, very smart for them to take Caleb there. I probably would have taken Caleb in round 10 if you would have made it back around to us for us to pair up with Rome and Keenan. But if we go Shaheed, Olave, we can set ourselves up with Derek Carr later. And yes, Derek Carr is a bum. Yes, we're not excited about it. But when we have Josh Allen QB1, it's not like we need a phenomenal QB2. Okay. Let's see. Mike Williams goes. Blake Corum off the board. I like the price of Purdy. I just don't think we can do it. I think we have to go Javonte. Another running back that really hasn't not proven much in a horrible offense, similar to Zamir White. Am I excited about taking him? Nah, but probably outscore the receivers. And we've put ourselves in a position where I think we can afford to take a running back, given the fact that we caught up on receivers somewhat with Olave, Keenan, Rome, Keon, and Shaheed. I actually love this team. I mean, if we're looking at what we managed to do, running back, we have Brees, Zamir, Javonte. Tight end, we potentially have the tight end 1 overall in Sam Laporta. Quarterback, we potentially have the QB1 overall in Josh Allen. Wide receiver, we have Olave, Keenan, Rome, Keon Coleman, and Shaheed. If you look at the correlating pieces, you have the Josh Allen, Keon Coleman stack. You have a bring back with Breece Hall. You have Chris Olave and Shaheed. You have Keenan Allen and Rome. I think it's a phenomenal team. I think we killed this draft so far. I love this price point of Purdy. The issue is I don't think we can do it. That was idiotic of me. I'm going to say that right now. Instead of taking Dontavian Wicks there, what we should have done is we should have just taken Brock Purdy and then taken Sticky Ricky on the way back around. For Brock Purdy to go this late, I mean, it's just the best value in the draft. Okay. Fried me with 132. Andy asking Goff for the Laporta stack. I mean, Goff would have definitely been in play, but Goff went at 126. So we don't have that option. And I think we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take Eckler. I'll continue to be the clown. I'll continue to be the fish in these drafts, taking Austin Eckler here. But, I mean, Eckler 137. Horrible offense. I don't want to say horrible offense, but pretty bad offense. Horrible match with this quarterback play in a committee. Got a really bad contract this year. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And Jameson says, Wicks is your bring back for the Bears. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you for justifying my selection, my friend. Nick says, bring out the pup after this pick. We'll call her in here. She was a little hellion today, I'll tell you that. Actually, I'm not going to lie. She was a little angel. We just had a lot of people coming over to the house. Miley, come here, girlie. All right. Called the beast. She should be on her way. You want to tell everybody hi? I know. You look so pretty tonight, don't you? Come tell everybody hi. Oh, my big doggy. Oh. Say, what's up? What's up, people? I know. You're my good girl. Say, use code FLOCK on Underdog. Mason only has good drafts. You don't? Okay. There you go, baby. I know. You're a good girl. She loves laying under the desk. Usually I don't let her under here because it's uncomfortable. Okay, let's move this over. Where do you go ahead and take TJ Hawkinson? Hawkinson and Laporta. I think, honestly, it's a great pairing in that we don't need Hawkinson to cover like too many baseline weeks. We don't care about the floor, particularly at the beginning of the season. So I'm fine not having Hawkinson for the beginning of the year and just kind of chasing the upside for weeks 15, 16, 17, because I think Laporta is going to cover us for a large percentage of those. Yeah, so I think Hawkinson's almost a no-brainer there at 152. Can you lay down? Can you lay down? That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Okay. And then after we take Hawkinson, though, we are done at tight end. I'm sorry. Hopefully this cough's gone tomorrow. I didn't work out today, so it should be much better tomorrow. We need another receiver. Is there a reason not to go Roman Wilson? We only have 2 rookies. We'll let it auto Roman for us. I'm looking at other receivers. Wandale, Malachi Corley. I don't necessarily see a massive reasoning for him. If it was a full PPR format, I could see Malachi. Or if we were going to go like Aaron Rodgers this round and then see if we can follow it up with Malachi Corley around 15 to go like Rodgers, Corley, Brees. There's just, in my mind, a low probability that we were going to get either guy falling to us in round 15. And Hayden says, seems like 10. Oh, my man, thank you for joining. Seems like 10 seconds will be doable once you get used to it. Yeah, this is my second draft with the 10-second timer. And the first one was a little bit tougher just because the live stream and swinging everything around. But definitely feels better now. I will say the 15-second timer was legitimately perfect. And I wouldn't think that it would be a big difference, that 5 seconds, but like the 15-second timer, I like I don't want to say I like it significantly more than the 30-second one, but at least for a live stream, like I'm zeroed in, I do like it a ton. So tight end off the board for us at this point. We need one more running back, one more quarterback, one more receiver. Baker, don't really have any options there. I mean, we could go ahead. We're going to take Bucky Irving just as a panic pick, and we'll figure it out. We're going to be done at running back afterwards. I mean, no, we're not going to try to justify a Baker selection here. I mean, I think Derek Carr is still going to be in play for us. I mean, if we really don't like any of the names at wide receiver when we're back up, I think possibly we can just go ahead and take Derek Carr. Yeah, because like who cares? All these wide receivers are the same. And actually, we're going to take 2 more receivers. I'm an idiot. I miscounted the rounds. Hayden asking 12-second, 30-second, 8-hour thoughts. Initial reaction sounds good. I think I just... I mean, obviously, you're going to know significantly more than I am in terms of the 10, 12, 15 and how that plays out. I'm sure, obviously, Underdog wants a lower timer where possible. But I don't know. I definitely love the idea of like the fast draft. I love the idea of the structure in terms of like 10, 12, 15. I just definitely not the person to ask. I'm sure you'll all be able to figure it out and know way better than I do. But Rafael says Carr is week 12 bye. I could care less about having quarterbacks stacked up on the same bye week. I mean, if you look at these tournaments, the majority of the money is going to be won in weeks 15, 16, 17. If anything, if you're going to tell me that we're going to have a lower overlap between Bills stacks and New Orleans stacks because people are worried about potential overlapping bye weeks, then if anything, that'd be something I target. I'm not targeting it. In reality, I'm just kind of going to be ignoring it. But yeah, I'll sacrifice the expected loss of 18 points in week 12 if it justifies the roster. I mean, if it makes the most sense for the roster construction in weeks 15, 16, 17. Okay, so swinging back around here, looking at some of these names that we can maybe mix in. What just happened? Okay, we got Jalen McMillan. I completely forgot that this was a 10-second thing. That was a full-blown panic pick. With a total of 4 rookie receivers, the last thing we're doing this last round is taking a rookie. We also have the rookie running back in Bucky Irving. We also have the TJ Hawkinson pick, who essentially treat him like a rookie in terms of back halving his production. We're just going to mix in Odell. But Kale says, I understand you get paid to make videos, no judgment here, but isn't the point to help us win the big bucks? So if you're not telling us all the secrets to winning, why would I invest? My friend, I tell y'all every single thought that comes into my head. Does it seem like I am someone who's smart enough or confident enough to go, you know what? I cracked the code here. I cracked the code. My entire business is trying to give people the best advice possible, but I'm going to try to squeak out this little bit of an edge by not telling people this secret strategy. No, my friend. I am highly incentivized. If I crack the code and come up with something, to tell y'all what it is. I understand you get paid to make videos, no judgment, but isn't the point to help us win the big bucks? I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I understand what you're saying here. So if you're not telling us all the secrets to winning, why would I invest like I am telling you every little idea I have, my friend. So I have no idea what you were talking about. I promise you I am not smart enough to give y'all okay fantasy advice and hold the phenomenal fantasy advice to myself. And every draft I've done has been on the live stream. So you can literally just look at what I'm doing one for one. But yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. But anyway, appreciate you so much hanging out with me this fine Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be streaming every single day. Excited to get these going tomorrow. And yeah, again, if there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate. Reach out to me. Let me know. Really do appreciate you and really hope you get to see you out.